So now I'm going to answer a couple questions for the self-interview section of this audition, starting with why I want to study at Leeds Conservatoire. One of the main reasons that that Leeds Conservatoire appeals to me so much is the fact that it has this conservatoire approach, as opposed to university, which can be great, but since there's many more different subjects taught, for example, here in a conservatoire, it's much more music focused. There's only musicians, so there's many more opportunities for collaboration, and also to be influenced and inspired by others, and also by more different musical styles, which probably would be to a lesser extent in a university, for example. Here I would want to keep up my classical and my jazz influences, and in terms of my playing as well. And I think that I would be more suited for that in a conservatoire, since there's people from many different backgrounds, but just many more opportunities to play with people in different styles and be influenced by that. But also in terms of the city, I know that Leeds has a great music scene, and so to be influenced by the music scene, but also be able to play in it, play gigs and play shows. I think that a good balance between the city and a conservatoire is very important, and Leeds Conservatoire just happens to be perfect for that. So that's definitely why Leeds appeals to me so much. In terms of my influences as a songwriter, there's Steely Dan, so Donald Fagen and Walter Becker. In terms of their lyricism, often very explicit, but with multiple layers of meaning, but also the fact that they have a very unique sound. When you hear it on the radio, you just know that's Steely Dan, that's Donald Fagen's voice. And the fact that they've been able to blend many different musical styles, their own, also the chords, and a much more of a jazzy feel, especially in their later albums. That's also something that I look up to and I want to incorporate in my own music. And more recently, of a more recent era, I would say Mac DeMarco. He's very groundbreaking in terms of the indie music scene, and in terms of doing things, on his own, and being able to sustain yourself on your own and really rely and depend on yourself. Because he wrote the songs by himself, then he would play them all by himself. He was multi-instrumentalist, and also being able to record and produce them by himself. That's also something that I think is very important. In this industry, it's very important to be, skilled in different aspects. And to the music that I'm listening to at the moment, so I'm definitely right now in my 70s and 80s phase with Steely Dan, but also a bit of Grateful Dead. And I love how they have a bit of this jazz aspect to them with their improvisation in terms of their live shows. But also the Police, they have great songs as well. Also having their very unique sound and blending different styles. Andy Summers is a great guitarist. Sings just great voice. Also Crosby, Stills and Nash. Now that's a great example of harmonies in terms of bands, and I think that we need more of that nowadays, and I want to incorporate that more. I want to bring that back. I think that's very important, and I miss that with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and then with Young as well, Neil Young. Also, I listen to a lot of classical music and jazz music, and I play a lot of it as well. So I think it's good to kind of go back to the roots in classical music, and also sometimes analyze and see things that worked back then and incorporate them in popular music, because often they're very translatable with Bach's music, for example. So I also listen to more current guitarists, just because I think they're very interesting, like Matteo Mancuso or Mark Lettieri. His sound is also very cool. And then Pat Metheny from a while ago, but I think they've all been very influential. In terms of my performing experience, I started playing the guitar at around 10, or before the age around 7 to 10 years old, and singing as well. So first I was playing in my school at talent shows, but eventually I joined a rock school. When I was put in a band, we would play covers, and we'd perform like twice a year. And then 2 years ago, but at venues, outside and with a large audience, and people from everywhere would come. And then 2 years ago, I joined this other rock school where it's more focused on original music. So I still play twice a year, but bigger venues now. There's one at La Bellevilloise in Paris, and then but that's with these rock schools. And recently, last weekend, I played Amplifest It was a little festival where we had to audition with my band, Unaccompanied Minors. We auditioned and we got in, and it was just teen bands playing original music. So that was really one of the first things, outside of the rock schools. But I definitely have a lot of experience, playing lead guitar and singing with my band, and just performing in general. In terms of my experience using recording technologies, I took a course on a summer 2 years ago for 2 weeks where I worked with a producer, and he basically taught me how to use Ableton Live, so that I could record some of my own songs and own musical ideas. So he helped me record 2 of my songs, and he just taught me the whole software. So now I'm able to use that on my own, and after that I bought the software. So that's very good. Now I'm going to quickly analyze one of my songs. So this is the song Mr. Astro that I sent in already. So it's in the key of E major, so 4 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. So we start off here on the tonic, but we're playing power chords. So yeah. Then we go E major over D sharp. So that major 7 interval right there. Then we go to C sharp minor. So that would be the 6 minor chord. And then it would be A major, but here I'm not playing any thirds. I'm not playing the C sharp. I'm playing, instead I have add 9 with the B. Then we go into the pre-chorus. A major. So it's B major essentially, but in the bass. So it's kind of, ascending line. C sharp minor, the 6 again. Yeah. And then out of key, D major. Now we go out of key again. So now we're just doing a descending kind of chromatic thing. So with A flat minor, and then G major 7, then F sharp minor, and then E minor, E major. And in terms of the lyrics, in terms of the melody, it's floating on the edge of the atmosphere, running low on oxygen. Quickly make a decision. Essentially, it's just like the pentatonic scale. There's very few notes, but it's really in the rhythm of the melody that is pretty catchy. So some issues that songwriters face, that are particularly important at this moment, is just the fact that there's a lot of competition and a lot of people who are trying to be musicians and are trying to be songwriters at the moment. So I think it's important to have, first of all, an excellent work ethic and just this drive no matter what, and really to overcome even if there's failures, but also to be, I think it's important, to have different skills, such as, not only in your playing, but also in your writing, but also being able to read music. I think it's important to read music and understand lots of music theory. But also being able to have some knowledge on, recording techniques, but also self-promotion. I think that's important. Basically, to be able to sustain yourself on your own, to rely on yourself, because there's so much competition. You have to stand out, really, and find your own, I think you have to find your own sound, and just find your own musical identity to stand out, really. I think that something that I'm good at is adapting to different musical styles. I love collaboration. And I'm very good. I think I'm easy to work with because I can understand people easily. I've lots of collaboration with my band. And I think that being able to sing, write lyrics, and also play an instrument, I think that's something that's unique to me. And I think that I can really bring that to the conservatoire. But also my different musical backgrounds with classical music and jazz. I think that's also and being able to read music and the theory. I think that's going to be able to help me stand out. And when I finish my studies, I think I definitely would want to be, definitely saying, in the music industry, either writing music for people, or writing music for myself, or playing with a band, or performing. But I think that once I study at Leeds Conservatoire, I'll get a clear idea of really where my strengths are and what I need to focus on, and then I'll be able to really determine concretely what I want to do after university, and after Leeds Conservatoire. But yeah, thank you.